that night I got taken advantage of and I felt so disgusted. Hey beautiful, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, hi, my name is Alexis Jayda and welcome. Today's notification shout out goes to Michelle. Thank you so much, love. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you want to be part of the notification squad, all you have to do is just hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment down below, and your comment can possibly be my next notification shout out. I hope everyone is having an amazing day. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and thank you so much for spending time with me. It seriously means so much to me. Thank you. Your girl got jewelry on today. I feel a little cute. They might pop off because, well, this was the only one that's kind of secure. These ones, I don't know. Let's get into it. I am having a good day so far. I'm trying really hard to not let anything get to me. Let me just vent real quick at the same time. Does anyone who has a very busy schedule have a few people, or just even one person in their life where they think any free time that you possibly have, or even if you don't have any free time, you have to make time for them, and if you don't, they kind of hit you with the silent treatment? That's what I'm currently dealing with right now. And me being naive, a part of me thought that if I did a day in my life, you know how I did my morning routine, my afternoon routine, and I have to edit my nighttime routine, I thought maybe they would see a little glimpse, because I get into arguments sometimes with some family members, some friends, where they think that, oh, you just don't want to spend time with me, or oh, you just don't want to message me back, or oh, this or that. I feel like whenever I do have time, I really do try my hardest, but my plate is very full. Anyways, there is this particular family member that anytime they call, and if I'm like, hey, I have to do this, before, boom, I would drop it, and I would like have to push things to the side, and my day would be like forever, okay? Well, lately I've been messaging them like, hey, I'm currently doing this. Is everything okay? Is anything like, you know, wrong? Or, you know, what's going on? Can I call you back? Silent treatment. I'll even get a silent treatment for like a day or two, and it literally pisses me off, because why can't you just tell me like, oh yeah, like it's just, I need this, or oh yeah, nothing serious, call me when you have time. Like, why do I have to kiss butt? I hate it. And unfortunately, like, I do love this person and I want to have a healthy adult relationship, but it's just so hard because this person is so used to getting their butt licked, and I feel like they're so used to how I used to be, because we're getting better. We're getting better, y'all. Would drop everything, and my day would literally be, I wouldn't be going to bed until like super late, and I've been going to bed on time, y'all. And it makes me so happy, because it messes with my mental. And I feel like they don't understand that like it causes fights with like my husband, like, you know, like, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, we have this to do. I'm like, yeah, but like they need this, you know. I always felt like I had to like hurry and drop everything. And recently I've been, you know, kind of been like, you know what, like the world's not gonna end if I don't go shopping with you. The world's not gonna end if I don't pick up this call and hear you like cheese me out and vent, not about like things that are important. Okay, things are important. Okay, hey, like this happened, you know, so and so, this and that. Okay, but if it's just like, girl, I cannot believe this, she wanted to try that, to me, where it's just like, we can cheese me out when I do have my free time, because like I need to get this done, because if I don't do the laundry right now, and if I slack off, and then, do you know what I'm saying? I don't know, y'all. Please let me know if I'm alone, because it is seriously so triggering, and I'm so pissed off right now because they just tried to call, and I'm like, hey, like I just sat down to record, like I can't right now, everything okay? And I'm literally, they read the message, but I already know what's going to happen, and I know I'm gonna get the silent treatment. But I know if I would have picked up that call, we would have been on the phone for like a good hour or two. And sometimes it's just, I feel bad for venting, y'all. I love that I'm here for people to vent to, you know, and especially my close circle, but I feel like I have no one to vent to. Do you know what I mean, if that makes sense? Like, I'm so used to being the therapist that when it's my turn to sit in the chair, I get like 10 minutes. Or I get like, oh, I can't right now, like I'm busy, like, oh, like go make a YouTube video about it, like, it's f***ed up, man, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, I'm good. Well, I do, but like, we're just gonna okay, anyways, sit back, relax. Let me know what you guys are doing. If you guys are cleaning, if you guys are eating, if you guys are driving, let me know what you guys are doing. And if you guys are cooking, let me know. All right, let's get into today's story time. This is continuing from my Nanny series, and I will definitely be doing other story times as well. And I hear you guys are like, hey Lex, I love the Nanny series, but I want to know about like your makeup clients. I want to know about, you know, the shady cousins, the shady family, the this is this. And I got you, girl. I got you. I do got a story time coming up on something that's not part of the Nanny series, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Yeah, let's just jump right into it and let's get started with the story time. Boom. Chicka picky 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 bing. Bing chicka bing chicka picky picky bing. Let's get into it. Everything I will be using will be linked down below. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram so you guys are updated with everything that is going on and all that good stuff. I feel like sometimes my mind is like constantly going, and when I feel like, okay, get to the story, I feel like that SpongeBob thing was like, hoopla! And he's like trying to hoopla! And you're like trying to say hoopla! And it's like, son of a bitch! Shut the f up. If you're having a bad day, babe, let me take those bad energies. Okay, bad feelings, bad everything. We poke it. We're gonna throw them away. We're gonna throw them away. Throw them away. Throw them away. And let me give you some of mine. Let me give you some of mine. Some of mine. All right. How do you feel? How do you feel? Huh? Now let's get started with this chisme. So I'm waiting for the ex to respond to me. I'll let him know, hey, I can't be here. I'm begging at this point where I'm like, please, I will sleep in the car. I will sleep in the restroom, because this wasn't the first time that I needed to go to the ex to sleep. And he knew that. At times I would feel like, would he really, like, did I really need to sleep in that area? Or was he just trying to see, you know? Spoiler alert, there was times where he did make me sleep in weird places just for something. How do I know this? Because as we got older and, you know, I got fed up, I started telling him, like, I need you to be truthful with me. I need you to tell me this. And he would tell me, like, yeah, I didn't have to. Like, my mom said you could come inside, but I just wanted to see if you were gonna stay out there. I just wanted to see how far you were willing to go for me. So came all over again. I'm excited, y'all. I got two collections that I do want to play with today from the ColourPop collection. Two that I want to play with. Mira, freaking avatar. You know that my kids think I'm cool as hell right now because I got this. I'm like, your mom's cool. You know how hard it is to get cool points from your kids? So I'm waiting on his response. Tommy is still not back. Tiffany is annoyed because she is in the room with me and she feels like I'm ruining her fun. Now, how did I know that I was ruining her fun? The bitch told me. She was just like hitting her foot and she was like, man, like, can I just go out there? Like, I'll make sure no one comes in. Like, you really can't, like, you're not good. Like, you're up now. Like, you're alert. You know what's gonna happen. Like, can I just go out there? Like, man, like, this beer, it's getting all warm and shit. Like, now, if I wasn't scared, I would have been like, get the f out, bitch. Like, get the f out. Because I don't like asking anybody for anything unless I'm really scared and I need to. But where I was scared, I let her talk to me like that. And I was like, Tiffany, please. And I just said it like that, you know, please. Because I'm scared. I am scared. I'm scared. I don't feel right. And at the time, it was just this sense of just like feeling. Have you ever been around somebody or around like you went into a place and you just felt like the vibrations were off? Like you just felt like something was just not good. Like it just didn't feel right. Like I don't know. Like I don't know how to explain it because I know like other people's like, Alex, I don't believe in vibes. Like use something, a different way to explain. I don't know how else to explain it because that's all I've always been huge on is vibes and feeling and just, I don't know. Like it's just that tingling feeling that you get when someone is behind you. That, like, how do you describe that? That feeling that you get, the goosebumps in the back of your head, like on the back of your neck, and how your hair rises up when you feel that presence of someone behind you. It's like that vibe, like you know something is off. And then that really nice feeling that you get, you know, like when your mom hugs you or your babies love on you or your husband, and it's like tingling, warm, the butterflies, and just like the rush of warmth through your whole body. Okay, so when I am talking about vibes, like those are the feelings that I'm speaking of, you know? And when I'm talking about like a dark energy, I'm talking about like when you are, all the lights are off and you have to go upstairs or downstairs and it's dark and you just feel like, ooh, just running up the stairs because you feel like someone is just gonna go whoop and just grab your feet and just yank your ass down all the way down. That intense fear. And if you don't feel any of those, then damn, because I feel all those. And sometimes I just wish I wouldn't feel, but it's like, it's a blessing and it's a curse at the same time. So that's just how I'm feeling, okay? In that moment, on the bed, just imagine holding my phone, just like, come on, write me back, write me back, write me back, write me back. And the whole time I'm pissed off because me and Skillet are not cool. And I'm like, I could just go with her. Like, should I just be like, you know what? It's my fault. Like, it's my fault. I don't care what happened. Like, when you are in these situations, you are willing to let people step over you. You are really willing to sink so low because you want to feel that comfort of like, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. Because it's a nasty feeling. It is a nasty feeling. I don't wish it on anybody. Recently, I had a really nasty panic attack and I forgot how scared I could get. Like, honestly, like, then you're like, what? Like, that sounds stupid. Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I honestly forgot how scared I could get. Like, I really wanted my mom. Like, I wanted my mom, and it's not very often, and I'm not trying to sound fucked that I want my mom because I'm grown, you know? I'm grown. I got a husband, I got kids, like, and if I got my brothers, like, but I was so scared, you guys. I was so scared. I don't really like my husband seeing me so scared and freaked out like that. But I was so freaking scared and I could not shake it. Like, I could not get out of my head. I was just like, like, what's going on? And I could not. It sucks. It really sucks when you feel these emotions because sometimes you just gotta remind yourself, like, all right, we just gotta ride it out. And then you feel like you're riding this out forever. And I'm like, bitch, how long? Like, I wanna get off. Like, get me off. Like, it feels like it goes on for such a long time. Like, honestly, it does. Okay, anyways, so I am just back and forth, like, just my panza, like, my stomach hurts. I'm gonna give myself chorro because I am just like, what the heck, what the heck, what the heck. And my phone finally goes off. I feel like I feel the vibration before I hear the ping, you know? So I look at my phone right away and I am just relieved. Okay, the X messages, all right, be ready in 10, I'll be there. I'm like, okay, cool, thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate it. I'm doing the most. I feel like even now I do that where I feel I can overkill a thank you. I swear, I don't know what it is about me. I just hate it sometimes where I'm like, dang, Lex, all you had to say was okay, you know? But I'm like, no, thank you so much. Like, I really, really appreciate it. Like, you are amazing. You are awesome. Thank you. You stay blessed. I love you. Like, I hope you have the best Christmases ever. Like, when anybody high fives my heart, I'm a million thank you in, okay? If you guys follow me on Facebook, you guys know that I was having a bad day and I went to Burger King because I wanted a coffee. And I was just feeling like in a funk, okay? Sometimes when you feel really fugly, you're just like, my thing, I like to eat, okay? So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go get me a mocha coffee. I like their mocha coffees. I go, I give the lady my card, and she's holding onto the car, and she's like, you're like really pretty. Oh, I was like, thank you. Oh my God, thank you so much. Like, you're so sweet. Thank you. And she's like, like, she was like, okay, like, I'm like, like, I was so happy, y'all. I was like, and I had my son with me and he was like, oh, Mom, that was so nice. I was like, right? And it was just such a sweet moment. My day was made. Like, I came back home, put the groceries away, got to making some food, and I was just happy, you know? I was just like, that was so sweet, especially because like I mentioned, I was feeling so blah, and she didn't have to tell me any of that, but she did, which was so sweet, and I really appreciated it. So anyways, back to me telling him like, thank you over again. I really appreciate it. Like, thank you. If you need me to do anything, like clean the car. I didn't even know at this point, like what I was offering. I was just like, Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because I felt so disgusted. And I felt like, honestly, if I would have stayed and Tiffany would have got messed up or she would have slept, something would have happened to me. And I was scared, y'all. Like, I was literally scared because I didn't know who had came in the room. I didn't know what was going on. Like, I just felt so grossed out. And I just wanted to get out. I just wanted to get out. So I tell Tiffany I am having my boyfriend come pick me up, and she's like, no, I don't want to hear Tommy complain, like you're not going anywhere. And I tell her, I'm like, no, like I'm going to go. She's like, no, you're not. I'm like, yeah, I am. Like, someone literally just came in here, touched up on me, and I don't know who it was. I don't feel comfortable. You don't even know who it was. Like, I want to go. So it's either I go with him or I can call the cops and I can let them know like what's going on and all that. Because there was a lot of things that shouldn't have been happening. I'm not gonna go into detail, like things they shouldn't have been happening. I shouldn't have been around. And I'm so glad that I didn't. I was scared. I was really scared to do anything, but it would have been so easy for me to get involved in stuff like that because it was literally like candy displayed. Do you know what I'm saying? It would have been so easy. I would have never had to pay for it. I would have never even have to ask for it. It was just so easily just there. And where I was so terrified because of seeing how, you know, how my mom, my friends, my cousin, like, no, I'm good. I'm good. And I'm glad. So she just stares at me, takes a drink, and just, man, I don't care. Get the out. And so I'm like, all right. So I wait until he tells me that he is outside. Once he tells me he's outside, I have to walk through the sala where everybody's at. And I don't know what this is called. So I need your guys' help. I felt like my eyelids got really heavy. Does that sound dumb? Yes. But I don't know how to explain it. It literally felt like I had thousands of lashes on, and it felt like I was just walking out. I felt like a zombie. Like, I felt like I wanted to go out there looking at everybody and be like, who the f touched me? I wanted to so bad. But I felt like I was gliding. I felt like I was gliding. My eyelids felt so heavy. Even if I wanted to open them wide, I feel like I couldn't. It was so weird. And it just felt like things just happened so quickly. Okay? Someone calls my name, hey Lex, and I'm like, and I just walk out. Everything just feels like everything's going on at once. I close the door and then it's just silent. Where you can just hear outside. It's just silent. And I feel like, okay, hurry, go before someone comes and gets you and says you're not leaving, or hurry and go before you just get kidnapped within these few seconds. Like, hurry and go. I don't even know how to explain it to you guys. Like, honestly, that's just how it felt. Like, I needed to hurry up and move because the kukui was coming. I just wanted to go. Even if it was from one bad place to another, I just wanted to just escape. So I see his car, get in the car, hug him. Oh, so glad to see you. Yeah, you too. And he like tells me like, so what's going on? And I'm just telling him like, I just want to be here. Can we just like leave? And he's like, yeah. So we're leaving and we go up to a gas station. So as we pull into the gas station and he gets out, I finally can just, and my fingertips are so numb where I'm like literally going like this and I look like a little crab, just going like this, and I'm just like looking around and I'm just trying to prepare myself because I already know I have to give this boy my body. I already know. And that is one thing I did not enjoy doing. I didn't know that it wasn't supposed to be painful. I thought it was supposed to be painful. I didn't know that certain things were not okay. When I would talk to like my grandma, my mother and stuff like that, it was never like, oh yeah, like it's fun. And it's so hard because it's such a blurred line of conversation. Like, you never want your child to be out there having sex or anything like that. So you want to be like, ew, it's gross and it hurts and that's why women bleed. So you think like, what? you know, or like then you hear them say like, oh, you know, like they fake it and this and that, and like I just wanted to get it over with. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be enjoyable. So when people, I would see some people like it, you know, I'd be like, oh my god, they must really like, oh, su puta madre, I am not gonna be wearing no more fake. So when I would hear that they did enjoy it, I'd be like, oh my god, they really must like pain. No. Okay, no, it's not supposed to be painful. So I was already trying to get myself ready mentally because I already knew that it was going to hurt. TMI, very, I feel like my whole channel is TMI. Every time we were done, I was so swollen. And it wasn't even like a good swollen, it was like a painful, well, it's like, we were kids. We shouldn't have been doing that. Like, you didn't even know what we was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was extremely painful. Very painful. I couldn't even sit down where it was so painful. I couldn't even go to the restroom because it just burned. It was extremely painful. And before I say, someone's gonna be like, oh, you probably had something else, but no, it was just, when I would go to my checkups, the doctor would just describe it as like very intense. Like they were like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on, you know? But we're not gonna go too much into that. So it was just very painful. So I was already preparing myself like, okay, I'm gonna, hopefully there's a Tylenol. So, you know, like it could take away that. And I was constantly drinking like water, so much water after, because I felt like it helped in a way to like get her, you know, not feeling so ouch. And so I'm like this in the car, like, because I'm preparing myself. And he knocks on the window. I snap back into reality and I look at him and I'm like, yeah. My dumbass thinking, oh, he's going to ask like, hey, you want anything on the inside or anything like that? No. You have any money or anything like that? Like, I need to pump gas and all I have is a 10. This man would constantly act like he was broke. Okay, this is going to be something that's an occurrence so much with this series. Even when I'm done with the Nanny series and I go into our own series, he would constantly act like he was broke. Constantly. Wasn't broke for his mama though. Wasn't broke for his sister though, right? But he would constantly try to milk me. Constantly. Anytime I had any money, I would try and hide, because he would literally be like, well, let's use yours. Like, why do we have to use mine? Even though he had fake papers to work at a factory, let's use your money. Why do we gotta use my money? Or I got this to pay, I got that to pay. And like the more I started to learn about like, hey, this and how to pay for that, I would pay for things for us. We sometimes it would even go half and half. But as soon as he seen how much money I had, he would take it all. I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed. Just disappointed. Like, when am I not disappointed with him? When am I not? I don't know how many conversations I've had in my head where I was just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, honestly, what are you doing? Like this? This? What are you doing? And then there'd be times where it's like he would make me laugh, you know, say something funny, and I'd be like, okay. So I go into my pocket, and as I'm pulling it out, it doesn't feel as thick from when I put it in my front pocket. So I'm like, so I don't know about you, but I bundle my money up. So y'all, I'm gonna have to take out these nails. I tried. When you get tested, I'm done. Just kidding. I'm gonna show y'all how I bundle my money. So example like this, okay? This is how I bundle my money. But it was different, right? So if I'm like, oh, gonna pull money out, I have two separate bundles in here. This one and then this is what's surrounding it, all right? Giving you a visual. I would always do this because my grandma would tell me, never let anyone know how much you got, because they're gonna want to take all of it. Or, you know, always act like you're poorer than what you are, right? Like, let's say the 20s inside, the dollar bills on the outside, dollar bills on the outside, and if I had a 5 in there or whatever, right? And have it like this. And so when it was in my pocket, I could pull out this stack, which was like, let's say 4 ones, or this stack, which was 5 and like a couple of ones. or this stack, which was like maybe a 10. You know, maybe I'm like, yeah, I got a 10, but all the expensive money is on the inside. Do you know what I'm saying? I hope you know what I'm saying. I always do that. Why? It's an old habit and it works. So as I'm going to like pull it out, and I can already see like the little, and I'm like, where's my other stack? So I pull it out and I have a 10, and I'm like, yeah, here. He's like, what else you got? I'm like, that's all I got. And he's like, I see. And I'm like, that's all I got. And I just kind of end it at that because I don't want to go back and forth, because this man would. He would be like, what else? Like, no shame. No shame at all. At all. I'm more pissed off at myself, but you're young and you learn. He takes it and he goes back inside and he is putting the gas in. So as he's walking back inside, I hurry up and I pull out the rest of the money, and a good $60 is missing. And I'm like, what the? Who stole from me? Who stole from me? So I'm trying to think like, okay, like, did I move around in the bed? Do you think it could have came out? But no, because how the money was wrapped up, it had to be from the center. So I'm like trying to think, and then it randomly just hits me. That person who had gone on top of me when they were, that's the only explanation that I have. This person didn't just grope me. I paid this person. Dark humor. And so I'm like, son of a bitch. So I am just like, are you, and I want to go back so bad. I want to be like, hey, take me back. Take me back. But I'm like, how? Like, how? Like, how? I'm like honestly trying to think, and I'm like, how come you didn't check when you were there? Why didn't you? And I am fighting with myself, and I'm like, maybe I didn't count right. So I am trying to count and keep my eye on the gas station, the doors. I'm trying to keep an eye, because I'm like, if he comes out, he is just going to take all my money. Because there had been times where, like, if I had money out of my pocket, he would literally take it from my pocket and put it in his pocket, and I'd be like, give it back. And he's like, I will. I'm like, come on, like, we're just hanging out. I wouldn't get it back. There'd be times where I was like counting my dollar bills, and he would just grab them and put them in his pants. I'm like, oh, come get them. And I'm like, no, like, just give it back. And he's like, no, come get them. And even when I would try to go and get them, he would be so rough with me that I could not. And I'm like, okay, fine, like, keep it. So I'm like trying to look. If you guys have ever tried to do anything in a hurry, you literally get so flustered and paranoid. The feeling of tingliness in my fingertips went away. They went away, where I was just so hyper focused on counting this money, where I was literally, I want to give you guys a visual. I was literally like this. He had come behind. So I'm like, how did I miss that? I look back and he's like, so you do have money? And I'm like, no, like I'm holding this for my mom. And so I had to come up with a lie, because I knew he was going to take it. I knew he was going to take it. And he goes, sure. He gets in and he is just shit-faced, like super pissed off. And I'm trying to break the ice. I ask him, I'm like, are you mad? He's like, why would I be mad? Like, why are you asking stupid questions? And I'm like, because like you look upset. He's like, no, I'm not upset. I just don't like when people lie. And I'm like, oh, sorry. Well, technically it's my mom's money, so it's not my money. And he's like, I thought your mom was in jail. I'm like, yeah, she is. Like, I just have to hold it for her. He's like, so why can't we spend it? Like, I'm pretty sure she's gonna forget. And I'm like, no, like, I have to hold it on. I have to hold it because we're gonna go put it on her books. And he's like, yeah, sure. Pissed off. He's pissed. So I'm getting this awkward silent treatment, and we are driving towards his house. So as we're driving towards his house, he reaches and touches my thigh, and I'm like, great, it's going to start. Again, preparing myself mentally about what's about to happen, because I know that this is something that is a routine. And if you don't want to do something, don't try to excuse it like I did. Don't. It's not okay. When you tell someone no, it means no. When you don't want to do it, don't do it. So I ask him where it is that I'm gonna be sleeping, and I'm kind of tired, and I'm kind of holding on to his hand because his hand is by my thigh and it's going to a certain place. And so he's like, what's the rush? And I'm like, I'm just tired, I've had a long day. You're always tired. It honestly did. Yeah, it always did probably feel like I always was tired. Like, honestly, like, I feel like I'm even tired now. Like, there's some times where I feel like I get enough sleep and I am just still exhausted. I am just mentally and emotionally just drained. And I never understood it. Like, my grandma would always say, I was born tired and I'm gonna die tired. And I'd be like, who says that? But now I'm just like, I get it, old lady. So I ask him again, like, where am I gonna sleep? And he's like, I don't know yet. I just like kind of sits back on his chair in the car, like annoyed. And I'm like, oh. So I just kind of stay there quiet, and I'm like so tempted to go on my phone, but I'm like, Jade, you can't, because he's gonna see it as a form of being disrespectful, so you can't. And so I'm like, I know, it's just annoying. And I'm like, dude, I know it is. So he gets on his phone for a little bit and he's just kind of ignoring me. I don't want to get on my phone because I feel like if I get on my phone, he's gonna get annoyed and be like, so I'm boring. He's going to see it as a form of disrespect, even though he's doing it. I can't explain it of why he can and I cannot, because he's controlling, that's why. So anyways, we literally sit there, which I feel like is forever, until he's done with this little bitch of a mood swing. And then he goes, all right, so we just have to chill in the garage for a little bit, and once things calm down on the inside, then you can come inside and I gotta sneak you in. And I'm like, okay. Now this is something that would happen often, and sometimes he would let me go inside and I would like sleep in the restroom, or I would sleep on the couch with him. It pisses me off when he would have me sleep in the restroom because like his mom knew, you know. But they are foul people, y'all. I tell you, they make me want to spit, especially her. She makes me want to spit. He tells me we just have to chill in the garage. The garage wasn't like ventilated or anything like that. Most garages aren't, and it gets cold, you know, it gets cold at night. So as I get out of the car, we're like super quiet. You can hear the crickets, you know, and we get inside the garage. We get inside the garage, and before I can even like walk in all the way, he's already starting to like strip me already. And I'm like, like, what are you doing? Like, can we just relax? And he's like, oh my gosh, like stop. And he's already just starting, and I'm like trying so hard to not really fight him, because I knew that there was going to be, you know, it wasn't gonna end well for me. So I'm going to skip over this part, but you guys already know. There are some things that I had told him no, and he got very upset and became very forceful with me, and it didn't go my way. Anytime I would tell this man no, it was like a challenge for him. So it literally felt like it went on forever. After everything is done, there was like some blankets. So he already had it like set up. Like he already had it set up where it was like, okay, so like okay. Like he knew what he was doing pretty much, right? Like you knew. You fucking knew. Just kidding. I know. It's like not the time to like laugh, but it's like, okay. I deal with humor that way. Let me do it however I want. So that ends, and we are just sitting on the thin ass blanket towel like things, okay? And we're just sitting there, and he has the nerve to ask me, so did you like it? And I pretend I don't hear him. He's kind of like hugging me and kind of like nudges me, and he's like, hey, so did you like it? And I just look up at him and I'm like, like that. He's like, why do you make those faces, man? And I'm like what? Even though I knew, but I'm just like, please, just leave me alone. Like, I don't know what other face to make. I don't know, it's just like awkward. Like, dude, I told you no about some of the things that you were like trying to do. It's awkward. Like, what do you mean? Did you like that? No, I didn't. And now I gotta go pee. We kind of just sit there. I just apologize for looking like that because it made him feel weird. But I think it's because subconsciously he knew that, like, dude, you're weird. Do you know what I mean? I feel like when you make someone feel uncomfortable, you don't get to ask them. And when you especially did what he did, you don't get to ask them, like, why are you making that face? Because what you did was not okay, you weirdo. So a couple of minutes passed by, like maybe like half hour, and I asked him, can I use the restroom? Because I thought we were gonna go inside. And he tells me, like, you can't hold it. I'm like, no, like I need to go to the restroom. So he kind of does like this long ass like and I'm like, weird, because I'm like, okay, like got the breathing dragon over here, like what the fuck? So he tells me that we're not going to be able to go inside yet, that everyone is still awake, that I need to hold it. So I'm like, okay, y'all, I could not hold it. I was literally clenching my freaking ass cheeks together because I needed to go to the restroom that bad. I'm like, oh my God. Trying to distract myself because I'm like, okay, we can't go. Like, we can't go. There's nothing we can do. We can't go. So he is like seeing me swarm around like a little weirdo, and he's like, let me go check inside and let me see who's all up and I'll be back. I'm like, okay. He left me. He left me outside for hours, y'all. He left me. Are we surprised? No? Okay. Just checking. So it was hours, to the point I got to use the restroom outside. Like, I literally squatted outside and I was like in panic thinking that he was going to come, and he didn't. And time passed. And so I'm just like literally just sitting there and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you should have just waited it out over there with Tiffany. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, why are you there? Like, why, like, what? Oh my God. So I'm just going through all these freaking emotions, and I'm pissed off at myself because I'm like, you know what? You should have just thugged it out. You should have just thugged it out and wait until Tommy got back, whenever she got back, whatever. This is happening because it's your fault. You put yourself in this situation because you called him. So I'm fighting with myself and I end up passing out. Like, I was tired, y'all. It was late. It was really late. So I wake up, not to him. Silly us. I wake up to my phone vibrating uncontrollably, like super loud. And it is the Peaches. And at first, I didn't know who it was when I answered the phone. I was just so discombobulated. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, what the heck? I forgot where I was. For a minute, I thought I was on Tommy's bed. And then I, had to feel the ground. I'm like, oh, fuck. So I get to the phone, and it is Mrs. Peach, and she is sobbing. I can't even make out what she's saying, and she's asking me, where am I? And I'm like, what? Like, I'm here. Like, why? What happened? Like, what did you hear? Because I'm like, what's going on, Because it's just so many emotions. She's like asking me, where am I? And I'm like, I'm okay. She's like, not you. Like, I'm not asking going all over, and I'm just like trying to stay silent. I'm like, what's wrong? Someone in her family had passed very tragically, and she needed me to be there in the morning because they were going to fly out. And she just, Alexis, please let go of whatever you are angry about, but we need you right now. We need you to stay with the kids. Like, do you hear me? We have nobody else. And I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm just like cleaning the baba off my face. Like, yeah, of course. Because at the end of the day, I cared about those kids. And even though their dad was a freaking real one, I know they needed me. I don't know, did they? Maybe they could have called somebody else, and I was like the only one that was like, hello. But anyways, she was like, whatever's going on, we'll deal with it when I get back. Can you please come over in the morning? Like, I need you here. Like, entiendes? Like, do you hear me? And I'm like, yes, I do. And she's like crying. She's like telling me, Alexis, not to hold on to any grudges. And she's giving me a whole speech how like life can just be like in a blink of an eye. And like, to let go of like the petty stuff. And I knew in a way she was like using this for her benefit as well. In a sick way, I know, God forgive me if I was wrong. And it's like, let's just know. It felt like the way she was saying things, it was like a great way for her to be like, you know what I mean? Like, let it go. We care about you. And you see how quick life is. And I'm like, yes. And just listening to her. And it is true. Life is not forever. And you are not promised forever. I just didn't like how she said it, you know? So I was like, okay. And she's like telling me that Mr. Peach is going to apologize to me. You know, we got to stand together. We are a union. We are familia. And I'm like, yeah. Especially me sitting on the floor like, yeah. She's like, you know, and whatever you're going through, we'll be there for you. And I'm like, she's like, I mean that, mija. And then she's like, you know, telling me like she loves me. So when death does occur, it does bring out different versions of people. Like it just really does. You really are just like the bullshit. Like I love you, you love me. Let's we're gonna work it out, you know. So I could kindly understand from a certain extent, but I was still very, you know, because of like everything that was going on, and I felt like a piece of poop because I had just I'm here at this piece of shit's house. And if I tell him like, hey, I gotta leave, he's gonna be like, are you serious? Like all I did for you? All I did for you? Even though what you do? Give me a blanket? And I'm sore and I'm hurting? Like what did you do? Nada, you know? But in my head, I literally thought like, oh my God, like he's gonna be so upset because he did so much for me. Like he picked me up. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that. Don't. So I'm literally like, and she's like, can you be here? And I'm just like, oh, like the timing of everything was just so crazy where I'm like, how? And then she's like asking me if I could stay a couple of nights, that they have to figure out everything, you know, over there where they have to go. And she doesn't want to leave the babies just with anybody. When she asked them, they, you know, of me. And so she was like gassing me up where I was like, Selena. But like, no, for real. She was like hella gassing me up. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, and the kids, like, they love you, Alexis. Like, they really love you. And they don't just go with anybody. So I'm like, yeah. You know, like listening to her. But I'm like, you know. So we talked for a while. She's telling me that she loves me. She's like going down memory lane about this certain somebody that unfortunately she had lost. And she's just telling me, you know, that like life and just telling me a bunch of things, and she's crying, and it's very sad. It is very, very sad because you never think that things like that can happen, but they do. So I get off the phone with her and I am texting, I want to say his name. I'm texting him and I'm like, hey, like, are you okay? Did you get in trouble or something? Like, I'm still out here. And he responds back pretty quickly. He's like, oh, where you were sleeping and I didn't want to wake you up. I wanted you to sleep. Outside? Like a dog? Like a chicken? So I'm like, okay, well, I'm up. Can I go inside now? And he texts me back, well, just give it a couple more hours and it's going to be morning. Can you wait? So I'm like, okay. So I just text him like, yeah, okay. At times, I know you guys say to be nice to little Lex. I just want to talk. I'm just hard. Like, what is wrong with you? What is literally wrong with you? Like, puta madre. Like, I get so mad at myself, yo. Like, you have no idea. No idea. Please don't comment mean things. Like, yeah, you stupid bitch. You are dumb. No, I know. Okay? Let's not be mean because, like, I know too. So I ended up sleeping outside and couldn't go inside because for whatever reason that he had. I hear his family members leaving in the morning because they work early in the morning. 6 o'clock in the morning. Thinking about so many things. That was me. That was me. That was me. So as everyone is getting ready to leave, I finally hear the footsteps coming closer to the garage, the door opening, and I already had folded everything. Like, I'm ready to go inside now. Like, I'm ready. And he goes, I'm so sorry that you had to sleep outside. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, my mom is like mad about the whole situation, and you know, she thinks that we're just too young to be doing this, and she just thinks that, like, you know, you just wanted to come inside and have sex. And okay, so I'm like, yeah, no, like, I understand. I'm like, no, it's fine, it's fine. So I go inside, go to the restroom, and I text Mrs. Peach, are you up? And I know they have an early flight, so I text them, are you up? And she texts me back, yes, when can you come? And I tell her I will be there soon, and she goes, okay, thank you, I love you. I always get an I love you, especially now, from people who I don't really, you know, get along with. They think like an I love you, because where they know that I have been so deprived of love that they think that I will take any I love yous. So yeah, that's sick, huh? I don't respond to her I love you. I just, okay, look at it, and I go into the kitchen, and he asks me like how long I'm gonna stay, and it kind of like seemed like he was already like trying to, you know, kick me out. And so I tell him, I'm like, no, like I'm gonna have to go in a little bit. Thank you for picking me up, because I didn't want to say thank you for letting me sleep here outside. Thank you very much. You are just, you're awesome cakes. Because that was something that he would kind of feel guilty about when we got older, and he would be like, and you remember when like I touched your body and you were like super cold, and I thought like you urinated on yourself because your pants felt so cold? Yeah. Yes, I remember, because that was me. I lived it, not you. I lived it. Yeah, so I remember. So I tell him that, and he's like, oh yeah, like, and I can pick you up after, like, you know, just like let me know. And I'm like, I will. Like, yeah, sure. So he tells me that he can't take me right now to go, but that if I wanted to wait a little bit, that he can see if he can leave. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, I'll just go. And he's like, are you sure? Like, I can take you? And I'm like, no, like, it's fine. So I texted Peaches, and I'm like, I'll be there in a little bit. Like, I'm gonna walk. Like, this is where I'm at. And she tells me like, I'll just come pick you up. And I'm like, okay. So I meet her at like a gas station instead, because I don't want her to be like right there. And so she picks me up, and she just looks like she's been crying all night, you know? So it's just very quiet. She tells me like, you know, te miras bien, you look good. And I'm like, thank you. And she's like telling me that Sam is going to be staying. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, but don't let her just do whatever she wants. Like, you're going to be in charge. If she thinks that she doesn't have to listen to you, like, she has to, this. But I already know it's gonna be an issue, because I know that girl's gonna be like, shut up. And I'm not gonna sit there, and I wasn't one of those where it's like, no, you have to listen to me, I'm the boss. It's just weird. Like, just do what you have to and get out of my face and shut up. So as we're getting too close to the house, I noticed that Tommy hasn't checked in on me, anything. So I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna even check in or message her. Like, there's no need for it. Like, I'm so over it. Like, I don't even care. She don't care. I don't care. And I'm like, hopefully she thinks like I was kidnapped or something, and she's going crazy. I'm like thinking all these mean things. Was it fair? No. I'm getting out of the car, and I am kind of getting nervous, because I'm like, oh. Honestly, I think I was just more nervous because I didn't know how Mr. Peach was going to react. I didn't know if he was going to have an attitude like, you owe me an apology. Like, honestly, I didn't know how it was going to go. So your girl was nervous. Like, I really was like, what's gonna happen? Mrs. Peach can sense that I'm nervous, and kind of just like grabs me on my shoulder and kind of just like rubs it. She's like, todo está bien, todo está bien. And I'm like, okay. So we get inside the house, and he is just packing things that they are going to need. And he kind of just tells me like, hey, Alexis, like that, you know, just very serious. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, he's extra serious too, because, you know, it's something very serious, the death in the family. Like, maybe it's like what Mrs. Peach said, like, it's just not the time to be petty or to be angry, you know, any of that. I just give him a head nod. As quick as I got inside is as quick as they left. So they leave. Mr. Peach kind of nods again, and he tells me just to keep an eye on everything, that I am the responsible one, and that if anything happens, it's on me, pretty much. You know, he was trying to be funny, but it just came off like, just shut up. They leave, and I just sit on the couch, turn on some TV, and everything is just dead silent. So I decided, like, hey, perfect opportunity to take a shower, get all the nasty stuff off of you, and just chill in a towel and get your clothes going. I go to the restroom, I get a towel first, put everything in the washer, and as that's going on, I just take a really nice hot shower, and I can hear my phone going beep, beep. So I'm not really in a hurry to like grab it, because I'm like, they can see if things are going good or not. And I'm just taking a shower. I'm not gonna sit there and get on my phone and like give them an update. Like, it's just too soon if it's them. Then I'm like, what if it's Tommy? What if she's finally like, oh my God, where are you? And I'm gonna be like, I'm running away. So I'm just like thinking about all these things in the shower, and I finally get out, and it is the ex. And he asks me like, hey, how's everything? And just, I think he's just trying to check in, because he's probably like, you know what? I'm a piece of poop, and I let her stay outside, and I really am just a piece of shit. But who knows? I don't want to give him too much credit now. I just tell him like, yeah, everything's fine. That's it. I just say everything's fine. He wants to go, why are you acting different? Why are you acting weird? Why are you being short with me? So you just wanted to use me to go pick you up. So I'm like, oh, so he's already going at like 100. And I'm like, no, I'm just getting ready. Like, I'm taking a shower, and that's why I didn't reply, like, you know, thank you, yeah, for picking me up, and trying to excuse his bad behavior, because you guys, I really cared about him, which was so weird. I hated him, but I loved him at the same time. Like, it was so weird. So weird. Where now I absolutely feel nothing. Absolutely nothing. If I could tell little Lex, you will feel nothing for this man. Nothing. I wouldn't believe you. I honestly would not believe you, because it was just so, it was not healthy, y'all. Like, it was literally not healthy. So I'm trying to respond to him as fast as I can. He ends up getting upset with me and tells me to not talk to him, and that I'm so effed up. And I literally, you guys, I really thought I did something wrong. I was like, oh man, you messed up, Jade. Still chilling. Finally get my clothes dried, and I sit down and I make myself a little something to eat. And I'm like, damn, this is the life. This is the life. Hopefully they don't have to come back for a long time, because I could live like this. Like, I honestly could live like this. And when you're in situations like that, I don't know about y'all, I love playing make-believe. So I'm really happy. I'm like, this is the life. And I hear footsteps coming downstairs, and it's Sam. Kind of just like, why are you here? And I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if the Peaches told you, but so-and-so passed, and yeah, I know about that, but like, why are you here? And I'm like, they called me so that I can watch you guys. She's like, I don't need no one to watch us. Like, I got this. And I'm like, okay, well, they wanted me here. She's like, what? So she starts going back upstairs, and she's kind of like, she's mad. Like, I know. I know she's mad. And I feel bad, you guys. Like, I feel bad, because I'm like, I'd be mad too. Like, I would be mad too if I was grown enough to watch everybody and y'all called somebody else. So she goes back upstairs, and she's like huffing and puffing, and she's already dialing, and she can't get a hold of anybody, because she keeps telling me she can't get a hold of anybody because I keep hearing. But it's probably because they're on the plane, and you can't answer phone calls on the plane, ma'am. I start to get breakfast prepared, because I'm like, okay, the babies are gonna wake up, they're gonna be hungry, so I'm just gonna get everything ready and just kind of try to knock everything out of the park, so that there's no like whining, complaining, anything like that. So I'm just trying to get everything just lined up, and just I want to get everything done within a reasonable time. So the kids wake up, I'm serving them, and I look at my phone, and it's my mom. I answer it. She's asking me how everything is. I kind of fill her in a little bit. Don't give her too much, because I don't want to worry her where she is locked up. Like, there's nothing that she really can do, and I don't want to fight with her and her tell me like, well, go back, or to go with my stepdad or anything like that. Like, I just didn't want to deal with any of it. Like I wanted to act like I was grown and I had it under control, even though I completely did not. I was just trying to do the best that I can with whatever I had. So I don't know if my mom just kind of knew or what, but she didn't ask anything about Tommy at all. So I talked to her for a little bit and it just becomes kind of dry. And I'm like, okay, well, love you, Mom. She's like, love you. I'll talk to you when I can. I'm like, okay. So she tells me she's gonna be getting out soon and pretty much that things are gonna be different. And it's kind of hard when my mom goes into these, like I know she means well, but it just comes off very aggressive. My mom has a way of talking where it doesn't make me want to listen. It makes me just, okay. Like I just try to hurry up and just get it over with because I just don't want to hear about it. Sam eventually comes down and she's kind of like upset with me, even though it has nothing to do with me, and she goes right into attacking and telling me that why did I frame my friend. I had forgot about the whole drama and I tell her, Sam, it's none of your business. I'm like, don't you got something better to do? Like really, that's what you came down here to start? Like please don't start. And she just tells me that like, wow, like I thought that was your ride or die. And I just pretty much tell her that everyone's fake. Everyone's fake and everyone switches up on everybody. And so I tell her, I'm like, so be careful. And she's like, okay, you're weird. So we just sit down and she's eating the food that I made. And yeah, it is her house. So it's not like if I could be like, don't eat that because it is her food or her parents or whatever. So she's eating it and she's just pretty much telling me that how long am I going to be there? And I'm like, I don't know. They pretty much just told me if I could just stay until they get everything situated. And she's like, so when is it gonna get situated? I'm like, Sam, I don't know. So she's like, so what? Now you're back for good? And I'm like, I don't know. And I kind of like smile and the bitch catches it. Ew, you wanna be back. And I look at her, I'm like, okay, and like, why are you so weird? Like, can no one just be happy? And she's like, no, don't play that with me. Ew, you want to be back. And I'm like, okay. And so we kind of like laugh because she can be very bitchy and sometimes it can go either way. It can go to like, we're going to fight and we're going to call each other mean names, or we can just like laugh it off. But sometimes you just have to kind of like read because she can be a hard one. Like she can be a very, very hard and difficult one to read because she's just so passive aggressive sometimes, you know. So she keeps trying to kind of ask me like, what happened? Did I really frame my friend? And it's just kind of being like nosera. And I'm like trying to tell her like, hey, I don't want to talk about it. We eventually talk about it and she's like, dang, that's so messed up. I'm like, yeah, so like I don't know what's wrong with her. Like she crazy, she's stupid. And so I kind of like got a little bit too comfortable and I said, yeah, she's stupid. I'm like, can't stand her. She fake as, you know, just going off, and I'm just like really upset. Sam walks away and the day continues. Okay, the day goes on and I'm just doing stuff that I have to do around the house that I normally would when I worked there. So I'm just kind of just going back into routine. Okay, going back into routine and just doing what I have to. And my phone goes off and it is Skillet. And she tells me that she's not the fake one, that I'm the fake one, and that if I want to talk all this smack, just say it to her face. And I'm like, what? Because even though we are mad at each other, I'm just like, wait, what? Because it was just like out of nowhere, right? I could see if I was on her post, I could see this, but I was kind of just like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about, you freaking weirdo? And she tells me that I was so quick to go back to everybody that I wasn't messing with as soon as things went left with her, and that she knew it, And so I'm like, okay, I'm like, I don't gotta explain myself, but something happened and I had to be here for the peaches. And I was like, but you wouldn't know anything about that, now would you? I was trying to say loyalty, but it's whatever. We were just kind of go back and forth, and she pretty much told me that Sam was on MySpace and was like, well, Alexis thinks you're a hoe, and Alexis thinks this, and you that, you this, because Skillet and Sam didn't like each other. So she took it upon herself to get into the cheesemate and be like, your mom's a bitch, and this and that. I don't care. Okay, I am not scared of what I said. Yeah, I can back it up, and what? It wasn't about that. It was just like, why are you running your mouth? Now, like, why are you being messy? What for? If we were all like, it's a time and place. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and go back and forth and be like this and that and that. You're scared, you're a little punk bitch, and you know that you're the one who stole, and you're trying to blame me. This puta sucia at the time really was trying to play like she didn't do it. And I'm like, really? I'm like, damn, dude, you're grimy. I'm like, you are exactly like the bitches that you talk about. You're grimy. I tell her, like, we could have came back from this, but now you're pushing it way too far, and you're really trying to die with this lie. Like, you're pathetic. Sam comes in the room, and I just kind of look at her, and I'm like, just annoyed, because it's like, why are you doing all that? Like, I'm literally here just chilling with you, and I fed you, and like what was the reason? What was the reason? Because there was none. Like, there really was none. Like, she was just messy. She loves stirring the pot. Don't be a stirring the pot type of bitch, okay? Just sit there and just either you be the one to serve the soup or you eat the soup, okay? But don't be the one to stir it, okay? No one likes one who stirs the pot. Nadie. Like, what are you doing? Sit your ass down. Either you eat or you serve it, okay? That's it. I am just, ugh, I'm annoyed. And I just finally just stopped texting Skillet. I tell her, hey, I'm gonna be here. If you want to do anything, pull up. I'm gonna be here. I'm not scared of you, Skillet. I'm really not scared, okay? I'm not scared. I'm not one of those little girls that you be intimidating. Like, I'm not scared. If you want it, you can have it. She tells me to shut the F up, this and that. This is why my mom, blah, blah, blah. Okay. She's always quick with the digs when it comes to my mom because she knows that it hurts. Okay. So I was just, whatever. I asked Sam, like, for what? Like, what? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why do you always have to, you know, stick your nose into things? Like, why are you so bored? Like, do you really have nothing to do that, like, you just stir in the pot like you're that bored? Like, go do something. Go to the room, go turn on the toothbrush, go do something. And she just goes, eh. Like, she honestly didn't have anything to say. She honestly doesn't know why she does what she does, and it was just because she wanted to be obnoxious and annoying. So the Peaches called to check on the kids, ask me how everything is, and I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. I'm not gonna sit here and let them know the petty stuff that's going on, because honestly, it doesn't matter. Someone is dead. It does not matter. Like, someone is no longer here with us, and the little stuff does not matter. Mrs. Peach is being extra nice, says, thank you so much, Alexis. Love you. Again, with the I love yous, I'm not saying it back because it's weird. I don't really like saying I love you unless I really, really mean it. So when I tell y'all, I mean it. Because there's people in my life that still try and say it, and I'm like, because it's just weird, because I know it's not genuine, you know? And it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm petty. Am I petty? I don't know. Maybe I am. So weird when I put my hair like that because I feel so different. The day continues, and I get a random call that is blocked. I answer it, and it is Tommy screaming on the top of her lungs, and I'm like, hello? And she is pissed. She is mad. Where the F are you? You always think that you can just do whatever the f you want. I hang up on her. I did not care. I did not care. What is she gonna do? Actually watch me? Take care of me? Bathe me, feed me? What is she gonna do? Nothing. So I hang up on her. She keeps trying to call. Hang up again, hang up again. I even answered a couple times so that she can just scream all she wants, and I can just hang up on her again, hang up on her again. So she then texts me from a number saying that if I do not get back, she is going to call the police and report me as a runaway. I call her bluff, because if anything, it would backfire on her, because I tell you, all that candy that was in that house, it would backfire so hard. So I said, do it. That thing. Shoot me. It was exactly like that. I said, do it. Do it. She is literally pissed off, cussing me out and telling me this and that, and it's like nothing that I haven't heard before. And I am like, why are you mad? If anything, I should be mad. You left me. Something happened in your house, and you weren't there to protect me. If anything, I'm the one who should be mad. Where were you? What were you doing? I don't gotta respond to you. I don't gotta answer to you. So she is mad, y'all. Like, super mad. And I kind of was like, because I didn't want to get in trouble, and I didn't want the Peaches to have any drama and the cops coming saying like, oh, what's going on? You're reported as a runaway, or, you know, whatever. I didn't want any drama. So I was really scared, and I was like, I really hope that you're calling her bluff, because is gonna be scary. This is gonna be scary. We're in for a bumpy ride. So I was really scared. She was mad. And she was mad that I wasn't giving her, like, I wasn't scared. And it was probably because like I had somewhere to be. If I didn't have anywhere else to go, I probably was like, okay. But where I didn't need her, it sounds horrible. I didn't care. But you guys, it was just a mix of everything. Like if she was nicer, better, then I would have respected her more and been like, oh yeah, hey, this or that. Like I didn't just act out, and I wasn't just like a shitty kid for no reason. Like I know it sounds stupid, but I honestly feel like I was valid in a lot of the things that I did. Honestly, like I feel like it was one of those things where it's just like, well, you know, and where were you? And where were you? So I kept telling her like, where were you? Like, why did you leave? Where were you at? And she kept saying like, she didn't have to explain herself to me, that I am the child and she's the adult, and that I need to understand that. And how come I just don't understand that? I tell her that I do understand that, but I just needed her there. And I was trying to explain to her what had happened, and she said just to come back and that we can talk about it, that she's not going to be going back and forth, and that to not mess with her because she is going to call and report me as a runaway. So I was like, okay, do what you gotta do, Tommy. Cause I don't give a just kidding. But yeah, I was kind of like in that mentality. Like my panza was hurting, you guys. I wanted to throw up so bad, like I really did. But I held it together. I was like, no, we can't do this. So she stops finally messaging me, and I blocked the number because, you guys, I was like, I'm just gonna keep going back and forth with her. It's just gonna be toxic. And Sam was listening like always. And she's like, what's going on? What's happening? I'm like, Sam, what makes you think I would tell you? Huh? Like, are you stupid? Are you dumb? Like, why would I tell you? Get over there. And so she's like, damn, you're always bitchy. And I'm like, for good reason. Like, what? Ain't no one in your business. So she asks me if it'll be all right if she leaves for a little bit. And I tell her no. And she laughs and she says, let me reword that. I'm gonna be back. And I tell her no. And she tells me like, what are you gonna do, Lex? Like, I'll be back. I'm gonna go see somebody. I'll be back. And I tell her that I will tell Mr. Peach that she left, and that to stop, that like her hoeing can just chill out for a couple of days while the family is going through something. And she tells me that I only have to watch the kids and I don't have to watch her. So she tries to kind of like, and marked up there. How annoying. We're literally going back and forth again. I feel like I'm fighting with her more than I have to tell the kids, hey, don't jump, hey, don't do this. I feel like honestly they called me not to watch the kids, but to watch Sam. Like, it honestly felt like that. And so I tell her, and I'm like, dude, they probably didn't even want me to come because of the kids. They want me to come because of you, because they don't know what to do with you anymore. Like, what the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you really can't wait? Wow, that's low. Wow. Do whatever you want, but there's gonna be a consequence. And it's not gonna be because of me. Like, I'm not gonna beat your ass for you not, like, I'm not gonna beat your ass and tell you not to go. But at the same time, I want you to act your age and stay home. So she tells me, great speech, and leaves. I really wanted to just grab her and just snatch her back. Like, I just wanted to snatch her back. As soon as she walks out of that door, I'm ringing Mr. Peach, because what the fuck? I'm hoping that he can tell her, like, you're not going anywhere. You're not gonna do anything. Like, even though it wasn't the time, I know I had to call. So I call him, I'm like, hey, she left. I told her that she couldn't leave. And he tells me like, well, get her back in the house. Like, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but get her back in the house. I hate when parents put that kind of pressure on their child. I'm not their child, but you know what I'm saying? I hate that. I hate that. I hate being talked to like that, even by grown ass people. Like, when, like, even like in the work industry, like, make it happen. Like, why are you doing that? Like, I don't know if it's in my anxiety, but like, why are you putting that kind of pressure on me? Like, why are you doing that? He's like, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but make it work. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, she just left. Like, I have the kids. Figure it out. Figure it out. I don't know how you're gonna do it. Figure it out, and don't call Mrs. Peach about it. Figure it out. And I'm like, how? Like, honestly, like, I don't know. You guys tell me. Like, do I just, like, what do I do? Like, he was like, figure it out. Like, I want her home within the hour. Figure it out. Because if he wouldn't have said that, I would have been like, I'm just gonna let her do her thing and she's gonna come back home. Figure it out. And I'm like, so I'm like, oh my God, like, this is constant. Like, I don't know. Cause like, I tell myself like, Lex, cause sometimes when things are going too good, it's like, I get kind of bored. So I'm like, maybe this is what I kind of like. It's like a challenge. So I'm like blowing up her phone. I'm telling her, get the F back now. Like, you're stressing them out. I already called them. Like, you could check my phone. I called them because they didn't have screenshot back in the day, right? So I'm like, get back home now. Like, for real. Like, get back home. I'm not playing. She's like, shut up. I'll be back at this time. Don't even trip. Just turn the camera. Just turn the camera. They're not gonna know. And I'm like, get back now. So as I'm arguing with her, fighting with her, Mr. Peach is messaging me like, boom, like, is she back yet? Is she back yet? Hello, is she back yet? Is she back yet? Is she back yet? I told you to fix this. Hello, I need you to fix this. Alexis, I need you to fix this. And I'm like freaking out. My stomach is hurting. The kids are starting to whine and I'm getting kind of agitated. And I'm like, stop, you guys, stop. Like, I'm not yelling at them like a crazy bitch, but I'm like, stop, please. Because I'm like it's too much. It's too much. And then I have the ex texting me and he's like, is there somebody else? I feel like you're acting different. Like, you were so quick to leave. Is there somebody else? So I'm like, oh my God. And then I have the private number calling me and I'm like, I bet you it's Tommy. So I literally have like all this going on and I'm like, oh my God. And so I text Sam. I'm like, can you just come back? Like, whoever you need to bring them back and I'll let you guys chill outside. She's like, I don't need your permission. And I'm like, work with me, Sam. Like, please work with me. Work with me, please, because I'm going to go crazy. Please work with me. So as I'm texting her midway before I can like send the message, Mr. Peach calls me and he's like, Alexis? And I'm like, yes. Did you fix the problem? And I'm like, I think I did. I think she's coming back. So I'm like telling him, like, I don't appreciate like all of this pressure. She is old. She's not like she's a toddler. Like, I can't just tell her, what did I say? What did I say? And I literally repeat back. And so I'm like, because I'm pissed, because I'm like, dude, I'm so mad at you for being a little trifling ass little bitch. The bubbles, what happened, right? Like, I'm telling the bubbles, like the cheeseman, the gossipy male, the gossipy little bitch. So I'm like, I'm trying so hard midway to be like, yo, like, I can leave your kids, dude. But I honestly think they knew the heart that I had. So they were like, she's not gonna do it. She's not gonna do it. And I never threatened them that way. Like, I'm gonna leave the kids. But it's just like, it really amazes me all the drama that they put me through. It's so hard doing a story time. I try to do it when everyone's sleeping. No. I try to do it when everyone is outside. No. I try to do it when everyone's eating. No. They will, Mom, you got a dad, okay? You got something I didn't have. A padre. Go use him. Anyways, so I'm telling Mr. Peach, like, don't put this pressure on me. So then he tells me, Alexis, figure it out or else. And I'm like, or else, bing, he hangs up. And I'm like, mother. So when he says that, I'm like, or else what? Or else what? So I text him, or else what? And he tells me to quit it. And like, what are you, like, what? Like, what? So I'm texting Sam. She's not even answering. So I'm just like literally calling. She's not answering. And I'm just like, as soon as it ends, call, ends, call, ends, call, ends, call. And then it gets to the point, I can't, you guys, I can't. Because I'm like, what can I do? I sound like I put the kids in the car, like, what can I do? So I still have Mr. Peach texting me, question mark update, like literally like ding, 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 ding. It's too much pressure. And if y'all are watching this, y'all fucking bitches. That was so much pressure. I literally thought I was gonna have a heart attack because it was so much pressure and I just felt so much anxiety. And on top of that, I have to feed the babies and I have to change the babies and I have to bathe the babies, make sure that the house stays good. And you want me to be in charge of Sam when you know she's a little rascal herself. You're a bitch. I did all I can do. It's been like a few hours now, let's say 3 the most. And now I'm just doing things around the house and I am like literally starting to get scared. Like, what if something happens to Sam? What if something happens to Sam and they have to fly back because something happens to Sam? So I text her and I'm like, yo, like, I'm begging you, like, please just come back. Like, I wouldn't have cared, but your dad told me or else. So I'm pretty much telling her like, hey, he threatened me. So if I die, it's on you. It's on you. So come back. And she's not replying. Everything's getting done. I set the kids down and we hear a knock. And I'm gonna leave it there. I love you guys so much. If you guys enjoy story time, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you guys haven't already to keep updated with my videos. Hit the notification bell so you guys are notified every time I do go live. And make sure to follow my Instagram so you guys are updated with everything that is going on. Please, if you want to see more of me, please make sure to check out my other videos as well. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for all your comments, your engagement with me. It seriously means so freaking much to me. I love you guys with all my heart. And I just want to say thank you so much for letting me tell my story and for you guys listening. It really, really means a lot to me. The kid will you guys. I love the look, but I really hate how that liner transferred. So let's just act like we don't see that, okay? What do y'all think? I hope you guys loved it. I love you guys so much. Get on with y'all, and I'll see you guys in my next story time. Bye.